Hello and welcome to the 18th of July. In the background over my shoulder you can see the Basilica, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but I just wanted to go over a couple of interesting items that happened today in history. I am in Barcelona, Spain, Cantalina district. This is the place that they tried to separate from Spain. It was in the news. It was quite a big deal. The government in Madrid stopped it, wouldn't let them put it on the referendum to a vote. And it was quite an exciting time. They have their own language here. It's a very, very beautiful, I'm told, and I could believe to be true, one of the finest, or the finest city in Spain is Barcelona. Don't take my word for it. Take a visit yourself. Some exciting things that happened in history on this day. I hope you can see me okay. I'm trying to anchor my tripod so it doesn't blow over. Give you a view of the fabulous basilica behind me, and so I hope it's going to be okay. It's hot as all HE double toothpicks out here. The lights even went out in a restaurant I was having lunch in briefly, maybe 12 to 15 minutes, and they came back on. So but there's no such thing as global warming. Don't let anybody try to tell you that wives' tale about global warming. Europe is on fire, and temperatures are into the 40 degrees Celsius range in parts of Europe. But don't let anybody tell you that global warming is real. In 1817, we lost at the age of 41 Jane Austen. Jane Austen at 41 perished. She was a great classic writer. She wrote Sense and Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice. So she was very popular. Word has it, one of her assistants played a joke and changed the typewriter ribbon on her typewriter. She flew off in a rage and fell down the stairs, hitting her head on a marble piece of statue. In 1927, Ty Cobb hit his 4,000th hit. His 4,000 hits. Believe it or not, I don't know. 4,000? And in 1976, if you can remember this, the reason I bring up some of these is if you were born and you didn't know anything about this because you weren't even born yet, you can Google it and find out about some fascinating things that happened before you were born. And that is Nadia Comaneci, the Romanian gymnast who scored a perfect 10 on the uneven parallel bars in the Montreal Olympics. In 1976, she had a perfect 10. She is the only gymnast to date who has received a perfect 10. A perfect 10. Can you believe it? On the uneven parallel bars. She went on to marry and have some children, but all her children are hunched over, and they think that's because of those uneven parallel bars. It permanently curved her spinal cord and her uterus into a shape of an uneven parallel bar. So she has wonderful children. They're alert. They're very smart, but they have a kind of a bent posture. All of them the same, sort of like like if you were to take a long shoehorn and just kind of tweak it just a little bit. It's uncanny. You're gonna have to see it for yourself. And the last thing is Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. And I'll talk about that at the end of this presentation. So I want to give you some facts. I have an appointment today to see the church, the basilica behind me, and go up in the tower. I hope I can use my recording video, my 12 Max Pro, iPhone 12 Max Pro. I don't know if you can film inside. So just in case that's the case, I'm going to give you some pertinent information now, and if I'm able to film inside, you'll see some things, but if I go over it now, I won't have to speak as much inside the basilica. And I'm talking about the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, Catalona. Okay, it's the largest unfinished church in the world. It was designed by Antonio Gavignani, 1852 to 1926, and he is laid to rest in the crypt inside. November 7th, 2010, Pope Benedict consecrated the church. And what that means, a church is not a church until it's consecrated, which means it's officially blessed, and all the dots are dotted, the T's crossed, and the Z's Z'd. And he did that in 2010, Pope Benedict. And that was the half an hour. It's 3:30 p.m. here in Catalonia, Spain. And that was the 3:30 p.m. bell from the I hope you can see it without my big head in the way. How'd you like the fado? Fado. Isn't fado fascinating? I got a complaint though, copyright complaint on some of those songs. The style is Gothic Revival, Art Nouveau, and Modernist is all combined in this structure. The Modernist is, of course, what you see that looks modern. The Art Nouveau is sort of like those, if you saw images of food and all sorts of different characters or characters of food and sort of things that you wouldn't normally recognize on a church, that's modernist. And of course, your Gothic Revival is probably the whole can of worms, a Gothic Revival. So those are the three main styles of this beautiful basilica. The groundbreaking was 19th of March, 1882, almost 140 years ago, to be not to be exact. The capacity can hold 9,000 worshipers. There's 18 spheres, 9 of them are already finished, and they've yet to complete the remaining spheres, or spheres, tears for fears. The spear height is 170 meters for our Canadian friends and European friends, and for our American friends, I'm from the United States, and we don't know what metric is. We don't know what the metric system is. For our United friends from the United States, it's 560 feet. Feet. Yeah, we're still doing feet. Can you believe it? 2022, and we're still doing feet and inches and miles and U.S. dollars, for that matter. The Spanish Civil War stopped construction in 1936. They broke into the church, and they took all the plans and all the plan sheets and all the important paperwork, and they destroyed it. And it took them a long time to get it all back or reconstruct it, what the original architects had in mind. And it intimately was built starting in the 1950s. Then it started to be built on and off and on and off. They say it's going to be done in about 2026. Some have heard 2025. Some I've heard not in our lifetime. Some I said, not in our lifetime. But it looks like they're digitally working very hard to finish the church. Man, oh man, nothing changes. You can go to a whole different country, but you always got to take yourself with you. And that's about some of the pertinent information I have about the basilica. And again, it's the Sagrada Familia Basilica, and it's just an amazing church. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my tripod and iPhone 12 Max Pro, and I'm going to walk over to the corner. I'm on the 7th floor. There's a pool here and some other areas, and I'm going to give you some close-up shots while I talk about some other things that I wanted to talk about. So let's go and do that. And I'm going to get up and move it around. And I wish there was somebody here that could tell me how to pronounce it correctly. I know how to pronounce it. It's just when I put these videos, when I get on these videos, I tell you, I lose, what little pronunciation that I have. Let's see if I can get as close as I can. Yeah. There it is. And I'm at the Radisson, by the way. So just to recap, in 1817, Jane Austen died at the age of 41 from an hysterical fit that she had regarding a typewriter ribbon incident. Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice. I guess they were made into movies as well, and I haven't read either one of them. In 1927, Ty Cobb won. He didn't win. He hit his 4,000th hit in 1927 for you baseball fans. And in 1976, you should Google this if you weren't born yet, Nita Comaneci had a perfect 10 on the uneven parallel bars at the Montreal Olympics in 1976. It's a wonderful story. Nobody has ever scored a perfect 10 before in their life, and her children are a testimony to her diligence and hard work. They've given up having good posture because of the accolades of their mother. And the big story, I guess everybody's talking about, I couldn't ignore it. Jennifer Lopez and the actor Ben Affleck have married in Las Vegas. Isn't that nice to get married in Las Vegas? They say marriages in Las Vegas on average last 15 months to about 36 months. For some reason, the odds of staying married when you marry in Las Vegas are very, and these are not my numbers. These are accredited numbers to the National Marriage Association, and they've come up with these figures on their own. So anyway, poor Ben Affleck. How long is he going to be able to take being married to this diva? He's successful. He's got a lot of reserve. He could have met any number of beautiful women from all over the world who are just regular gals, but he's picked to marry a highfalutin, self-absorbed, wealthy movie star and singer. I don't know what could be more intrusive, and it's like, why don't you just buy a couple of giraffes and a couple of racehorses and have them live in the same apartment with you and see how that goes? I mean, unbelievable. I give him, I don't know how long he's going to be able to take it. I mean, really? Do you want to really put yourself in that position to marry a woman of her stature? Come on. Didn't he learn anything from Madonna's husband who used to beat up all the cameras? What's his name? The actor, Sean Penn. Didn't he learn anything? Didn't he watch any of the videos? You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. And then you're stuck with her and her entourage and her personal assistants and her makeup and her outfits and her schedule and her attitude. Are you kidding me? He's got to have his head examined. So I wish them both luck, but I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. Oh yeah, let's marry somebody where you can't go anywhere in public, which means you'll be stuck with her in private for the whole 9 yards. So good luck with that. And I don't mean to bring this up in front of such a beautiful basilica, but that's that. So I hope you got all that information. Hopefully I'll get some video from inside this remarkable structure. If not, you got it here. You got exterior. and we'll see what happens. I don't want to get thrown out of this church. So what you're seeing is, of course, the Gothic revival, the Art Nouveau. Now, the Art Nouveau is the all that kind of nutty stuff that you can't explain. That's your Art Novena, or Noven, another English name or a French name, and a moderist. So that's what you're seeing. So I hope you enjoyed this little presentation. It's only 15 minutes. And if you can't watch it, you don't have 15 minutes, just watch 5 minutes. Then come back and watch another 5 minutes. Then come back and watch another 5 minutes. And then you've watched the whole thing. I don't know what to tell you. I just don't know what to tell you. Ben Affleck's falling in love again with a diva. And get out of here. What is this, an ant? This is a Spanish ant. All right. He had a piece of bread in his mouth. All right. Over and out.